So we go to Micah 4:1. In the last days, the mountain of the Lord's house will be established at the top of the mountains and will be raised above the hills, and people will stream to it, right? So this is the same prophecy that Isaiah gave in Isaiah chapter 2. So this is a last days prophecy. But Micah gave us a little bit more details. So as we go to verse number 2, where he was the Most High teaching the paths and etc., right? Verse 3, he will settle disputes among many people and provide arbitration for strong nations that are far away. They will beat their swords into plows and their spears into pruning knives. Nation will not lift up sword against nation, and they will never again train for war. Verse number 4. But each person will sit under his grapevine and under his fig tree, with no one to frighten him. For the mouth of the Lord of the armies have spoken. Though all the peoples each walk in the name of their gods, we will walk in the name of the Lord our God forever and ever. And on that day, this is the Lord's declaration, I will assemble the lame and gather the scattered and those who I have injured. So we see that we have a promise in the last days that there are going to be particular people from different nations that's going to come in the mountain of the Lord, and they're going to learn his ways, and they're going to be at peace. No more disputes and etc. Now, it's going to be other people from other nations that still walk in their own gods. He's not getting rid of idolatry of the whole entire planet, the globe. That's not what he said. But for his people is going to be a set apart people, and there are going to be he's going to be their God, and they're going to be his people, as the new covenant stated. And it's all about him directing this information toward his people. And may I add that his people are those also from other nations. So once you go to Matthew 24 verse 4, when they ask Christ about the sign of his coming and the end of the age, Matthew 24:4. Jesus replied to them, watch out that no one deceives you. For many will come in my name saying, I am the Messiah, and they will deceive many. You are going to hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not alarmed, because these things must take place first, but the end is not yet. For nation will rise up against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there will be famines and earthquakes in various places. But notice, Christ said in his mountain, when you go to Micah, it stated in his mountain, it's not going to be no more war. It's not going to be no more disputes and etc. But here we have Christ talking about there's going to be wars and disputes. What is he doing? He's separating those that's following under his banner compared to those that's under the banner of the world. And the people that's under his banner is going to be affected by the people under the banner of the world for a times and a half. So the victory of Christ was about him finally being that one and only king over his people. No more idolatry within his people. And just as the Father was always king, he was always Lord, no matter what happened throughout time. There was paganism throughout all the times, and he still was the Lord. He still was the Father. There was death, rape, pillaging, and all that stuff of all nations, from Genesis all the way up into the New Testament. The Father, he still was the Father of heaven. So that type of actions that don't affect whether the Father or Christ is ruling and reigning. But for his people, the people that follow him, his kingdom of priests, they're no longer going to have any warring amongst themselves inside of his kingdom. Just like Israel was supposed to be a kingdom of priests, but what was they doing? They was warring inside of their kingdom. They was killing each other and etc. They was doing bad to the orphans and the widows. In this new kingdom under Christ, in his kingdom of priests and etc., they no longer will have those actions, and those Gentiles will actually be able to come in and partake of the same type of heritage along with the chosen seed. Thank y'all for listening in. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you get the book.